Hi guys, I'm checking the lighting on here. I'm definitely going to get me a ring light, but this will have to work for now. So I want to come to you guys today to finally talk about my perspective on living in Manhattan versus living in Brooklyn and how I chose to come to live in Manhattan. Now, as I said before, it was a difficult decision to make at first. Because I was really kind of fixated on Brooklyn at first. I was like, yeah, Brooklyn, this is where I want to be because it's more culturally diverse. Brooklyn has a black population of 34% black people in Brooklyn. That's the racial composition. We're talking about 34% of Brooklyn's population is black people, right? Whereas Manhattan, I think the statistic is 14% of Manhattan's population is comprised of black people. So that's still a significant number, I think, of black people, especially considering where I come from. Before I moved back to New York, I was living in Los Angeles, California. And in LA, blacks only make up 9% of the population, you guys. 9%. That's a very small percentage, and it makes a huge difference for a person like me whose cultural and ethnic identity is very salient to them. It just makes a huge difference. What's up, Yanga? What's up, everyone? How are you guys doing on this Saturday? I'm feeling so great because finally in my new place, I got settled. My furniture came yesterday, so we actually got the furniture in after I got all of my stuff out of storage. So yesterday was a very eventful day, but I'm happy that things went smoothly, and I am in my new place, and I can just kind of kick back. But I want to share with you guys my journey in terms of how I got to this point, because it wasn't all peaches and cream, you guys. Like, I got back to New York City from LA on April 1st. Go figure. It was a day that I kind of picked. It was kind of spontaneous, given how spontaneous this pandemic, as some people will call plandemic, how spontaneous that kind of just came about. And it was a decision. It was kind of a tough decision I had to make in terms of leaving LA. I was in the middle of a contract where I was working at the prison, gaining my clinical practicum hours, working with inmates at the prison, doing therapy and doing psychodiagnostics and psycho evals. So it was definitely, you say, less of an echo. Yay! You know why? Because the furniture in my apartment and the things that I moved in here are absorbing that sound. So the sound isn't bouncing everywhere. So thumbs up. Thanks for the feedback, Yanga. So yeah, I ended up, ending that contract, and I made the decision just to come back to New York. And man, can I say it was one hell of a journey. Now, granted, I probably didn't look like that on the outside, looking in, because I carry myself with poise and, humility and just trying to be grateful. But I went through some things, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit of that in this video. Also, I am going to stuff my pillows that I ordered from Amazon. I made a video about this the other day where I didn't even know that this was just pillow covers. I thought that I was ordering full pillows, like that were already stuffed. So that was a surprise to me. So I went out today, actually, and purchased some cotton. So I got 4 of these, and I purchased some bags of cotton, guys, from Michael's on the west side. I actually walk, because I'm on the Upper East Side now, and I walk all the way through Central Park to the other side. It's not that bad of a walk, though. But when you're carrying 4 of these, and how much does this weigh? 20 ounces each. So how many pounds is that? If you do 20 ounces times 4, we're talking about 80 ounces. I don't know. It just felt kind of heavy, I guess, carrying 4 of these back to my apartment. So I have this big Michael's bag here. This is going to be fun because Guys, it's been a while since I made pillows, and actually, this is the big Michaels bag I got. I got 4 of these. I'm gonna stuff these pillows while I talk to you guys about my long, adventurous journey and coming to where I am now and deciding to choose to live in Manhattan, New York. Like, I like where I live. I like my apartment a lot. So which one should I do first? Let's go with this one first. So I like the material. I don't know what material this is. Someone I think said it was canvas. I think it may be actually be canvas. So I am going to stuff these pillows. So when I got here April 1st, fresh start, actually came to Brooklyn, and it was Bed-Stuy area of Brooklyn. And it was in like the peak of the pandemic, so everything was shut down. This is when literally everything was shut down, and you can only order food delivery. I think they had some restaurants where you can go pick up, but a lot of it was, for me, it was food delivery. And New York just didn't feel the same. It wasn't the same at all. And so I can multitask. I bought 4 and I was hoping that I got enough. And by the way, these packs were only $6 each. So not bad, right? So I'm trying to figure out how should I do this, guys, because I don't know, right? Should I just pull it apart? I guess so. Just stuff it in there. We're going to see how this goes. So, oh wow, look at that. A roll of cotton. Wow. Yeah, so I got here and I was staying out in Brooklyn. Really nice neighborhood. By the way, I would say all of the places, because I'm going to talk about several different places I stayed before signing my lease for the apartment where I am now. And yeah, it's interesting, right? I kind of been all over the place, given this is my rationale, my ideas, that I did not want to commit too long, I guess, to a temporary stay, because you just don't know, right? And granted, you guys, I did all of this through Airbnb. Not my current apartment, of course. This is an actual official lease that I signed. But prior to where I am at now, the places where I was staying at after arriving here April 1st were Airbnbs, guys. And thankfully, Airbnb was still in full effect, you know? Granted, I do have friends that live in New York City, but, you know, a girl like me just wants to be independent. I know a lot of other women can relate, but, yeah, just wanting to be independent, right? You just do things on your own. So, yeah, I got an Airbnb. And the first one was, I should have probably wrote down like the names. It would be interesting to kind of give you guys a cross street for where I was. I can talk about this now. Of course, I would not tell you guys where I was before when I was actually staying there, but I know it was like in Bed-Stuy area. It was in a townhouse, and it was kind of cramped, I remember, but I did like the common area, and that's where I made one of my cuckold videos, I remember, and it actually went viral. I think it was, what did I title that? I think it was Cuckold Reloaded or something. But I made a cuckold video there. I was sitting in the kitchen, and that's the video where I like took a couple shots of not gin, but ginger. Yeah, I took a couple shots of ginger, which is my favorite. And yeah, so for you guys who actually really do follow my videos on YouTube, to kind of give you guys a perspective. So that was the first place that I was staying at when I arrived here in New York City in Brooklyn. And that was all right. I did 3 weeks there. And granted, all of the places I stayed at that I'm going to tell you guys about were 3-week stays up until the latter part, which I'll tell you guys about. So, it was a 3-week stay. It was all right. I mean, there was a bodega across the street. It actually was a nice neighborhood. Like, it wasn't that far from this park that had water. It was near, I'm trying to recall, I'm trying to jog my memory. It wasn't that far away from, I'm trying to recall. Yeah, I think it wasn't that far away from Williamsburg, if I'm not mistaken. Because, like, all the places I stayed at that I'm going to tell you guys about in Brooklyn were pretty much, like, in Bed-Stuy. Not too far from, like, Williamsburg. I think this is going to, because I was wondering, was it going to be enough cotton? I think it actually is going to be enough cotton. Woohoo! So, yeah, but I ended up saying, all right. Because I think the initial plan was that my friend at the time, we were going to share a space, but it didn't work out. Like, dude was annoying as shit. He got my freaking nerves, and I was like, you know what? This isn't gonna work. I think I'm gonna try to stuff it, because the thicker the better, right? Look, it's already taking form. Look at that. So yeah, I just like, nah, I'm about to bounce. And I basically had made a plan to, I booked another Airbnb. So that place, the first place, the Airbnb wasn't in my name, it was actually in a friend's name. And I'll say associate, I won't say a friend. But it was like in an associate's name. It didn't work, because we just disagreed on a lot of things. And so I ended up booking an Airbnb in my name. And I went to Jersey City, guys. And actually, Jersey City wasn't bad. That was actually right outside of Lower Manhattan, right? It's not too far away from Lower Manhattan. Nice area. The house where I stayed was big as fuck. The room that I was in was humongous. I was like the only person in the place actually at the time. Except for I think one other guest that came. There was another guest that came for a few days, but yeah, things were weird. This was like back in April, late April at this time when I went to Jersey City. Because the first place was 3 weeks, and then I went to Jersey City for 3 weeks. That place in Jersey City, yeah, it was just like late April, early May, right? So yeah, it was like the peak of the pandemic. Everybody was just pretty much inside, right? No one was going anywhere. Of course, no one was traveling, right? So that's what made it a peaceful stay for me, because I had the house pretty much to myself. And the room was humongous. That's actually the place where, like I said, for you guys who really do follow me, that's actually the place where I did the video on my new vibrator that I had purchased from Target. So you guys can get an idea. And I also had made a video where I went to Brooklyn, did some shopping, and I came back, and I was like, I had fruit. I had, I think, some mango, and what did I have? Ginger. Yeah, so that was way back. But that place was pretty cool, pretty quiet. Stayed there for 3 weeks, and then I'm a very adventurous person, so this isn't like out of the norm for me. It may sound kind of weird for you guys, but listen, I'm a solo person, no kids. I can travel like that. So I ended up basically staying there for 3 weeks. And I came back to Brooklyn, to a different place. In Brooklyn, it was a house. It was, I think it was like a 3-story house. And it was owned by this very young guy who was from Miami. I'm like, dude, you own this? But the interesting thing, what I noticed, is that the people that the universe allowed me to come in contact with, these people were really good people, right? Like the Airbnb hosts were financially well off, sane. I didn't run into like any craziness, thank God, because sometimes you just never know, right? So there were good people, no stress, which made it obviously easier for me, except for that person had a cat. I'm not really a big fan of cats. So it was like fur in some places. I didn't like that. But the room that I was in was very airy. Of course, all these places I had full access to the entire place. Even though I was renting the room, I paid for the room. I had full access to the entire place. So that was wonderful. And then, what else can I say about that place? I made some videos. Every place I stayed at, I actually made videos. But I'm trying to remember a video that actually stood out. That was a place. I did make a video where I had ordered some chitterlings. So I made a video there, trying out the chitlins I had purchased. What other video I made there? Oh, I made a pussy worship video where I talked about pussy worship there. I made several videos there. Of course, I was there for 3 weeks. So, like I said, all these places, I stayed there for 3 weeks. But it was pretty cool. I really liked it. At that point, I think maybe it was probably ending phase 1, probably phase 2 reopening. So, things were somewhat trying to get back to normal. I remember, like, my neighbors, because I'll say, like, it was a brownstone community. So, like, next door, brownstone next door, I remember they were having a party, and I actually made a post about it. I was just like, oh, they're having a party without me. I wish I was down there. But they were lit, and I can see it like from my bedroom window. It was like so motivating. But that place was cool, I remember. I got some good food from over there too. Like, that's the thing about Brooklyn, you guys. And I'm making a contrast between living in Manhattan versus living in Brooklyn. Yo, Brooklyn got some really nice stuff. I mean, there's nice food all over the place, but I remember that neighborhood, like, some really nice stuff, especially when it came to food delivery, because everything pretty much was shut down. You could not, like, go into places. So it's good to know that a lot of these places were on the food delivery app that I was using at the time, and I was just ordering food left and right. It was wonderful. It worked out for me. And so I should get the corners, huh? Let me make sure I stuff the corners. Push it on in the corner. Yeah, I think I ordered Bed-Stuy fish fry when I was there. It was lovely, right? I did some walking vlogs in the same neighborhood. That was cool. And then after that stay, guess where I came? I came to Upper East Side. Technically, it was Harlem. It's still Harlem, which I learned that it's pretty much on the border. So it's like borderline Harlem, borderline Upper East Side, where I moved, and it was to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and I was like welcomed with open arms. I felt like that was the pivotal moment right there. That moment when I moved to Manhattan, that was a very important moment because I was renting a room. I really liked the room because it had exposed brick. So when you guys look at my videos and you see in the background prior to October 1st, of course, because I moved in this place October 1st, but prior to October 1st, in the background you see the red exposed brick. I love that room so much, right? And then it had like a vanity, mirror, table, chair, and all of that, so I could sit in front of that and do my videos. It just worked, right? It was calling my name, so I ended up booking that place. Stayed there, I think for 3 weeks. Then I went to Brooklyn. Something just kept calling me back to Brooklyn, right? I went to Brooklyn and I was staying in another apartment, but it was more like a kind of antique apartment, I remember, because of the design on the inside. Like, they had a typewriter. The different little fixtures they had just kind of spoke to me. It was a lot of like antique memorabilia throughout the apartment. The bedroom was humongous. They had a bathroom inside the bedroom. It worked out for me. So I love that. This pillow is coming together, guys. I really do want to stuff all of this in here, but I don't want to like stuff it too much. So I got 4. I was wondering would 4 packs of cotton be enough? So yeah, that was nice. That apartment was owned by this couple who was never there, so I pretty much had the place to myself. But you know, we were like approaching, I think at that point maybe phase 3 reopening, so things were starting to open more. And I was out, you know, like taking my daily walks, like out in the neighborhood exploring, and I'm trying to remember. Was that the time I think I actually started looking for an apartment? When I stayed in that neighborhood, and I ended up in Borum Hill. Borum Hill is a really like high-end neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I remember going to this apartment in Borum Hill, and I actually liked it. No, I didn't like it. I liked it from the pictures, right? Of course, that's how I was able to go out there. But when I get there, it was like, I think it was the building. The apartment wasn't, I'm like, all of this for $3,200? Like, it wasn't worth the $3,200 they were asking, basically. And so, yeah. And then it was like, I had to take the elevator to get to the actual apartment. The view from the outside, like, it wasn't really nothing that grabbed my attention to the apartment, basically. I was just like, nah. I knew that I would, like, you can tell, I don't know, maybe women have this good intuition, but I'm pretty sure men do too, where you walk into a place, like when you're looking for a place to stay, you know, like, if it's your place, you can tell, like, can you see yourself living there, or you're like, nah, I don't see myself living there. And I think I knew from probably on the elevator ride up, like, nah, this ain't it. This is not it. Granted, like, they kept the place nice. I mean, it was clean. It was okay. Right? It was okay. It was modern, though. It wasn't a modern building. That's probably what it was. It was a modern building. And so it just didn't speak to me. They had like what do you call it? The upper level where you can go outside on the terrace and like look over the city, the views from the city. They had one of those. But I wasn't feeling it. $3,200 for a 1-bedroom. And then granted, the bedroom, I think it was like upstairs and downstairs, right? So it had like the main level, and then you go downstairs, and it had like this big ass room. You know, all new appliances. I think it had a washer and dryer. But aside from the price, I'm just like, I don't know. I think what it is I like the new mixed with the old, right? So like if a building or apartment is like completely just everything is brand new, it's like regular, right? Versus if it's too old, then it's like, okay, that can be problematic too, because some things may not work, and then especially if you're higher up, it doesn't have an elevator, that ain't gonna work. So I like a blend. I like a blend where it has like an old feel, but a modern feel to it too, right? And so, yeah, I decided like, nah, Borum Hill is not it. But I did like the neighborhood, and I did like that it had an artsy feel to it. It reminded me of Hollywood, where I used to live in LA. I lived out there for my first 2 years when I was out there. So it kind of had like that artsy hippie feel to it. And it was near the water, so that stood out. But I'm like, nah. And so then, after my stay there, I actually came back to that same apartment in Harlem bordering the Upper East Side. I felt very welcome. I mean, she's, you know, mixed with Colombian and Jewish. Very nice woman. She had a son, a younger child. And aside from her, like, making me feel very welcome in that place, just the neighborhood itself made me feel welcome. And I guess I like that it was close to like the main strip in Harlem, 125th Street. So it wasn't necessarily like out, like when I walk out my apartment, boom, I'm on 125th. I did have to walk like maybe a mile or so to get there, but I think I like that part, and I just like the neighborhood that it was in. It's very clean. The streets were clean, so I like that, and I just like the vibe. It's all about the vibe and just feeling welcome. And I ended up coming back there, and I stayed for several months. That's how much I liked it. I stayed for several months up until 1 week before I moved into the place that I'm at now. And so that final week before I moved into this place, I was going to stay. I was going to continue staying at that place, right? Because I had been there for like 3 months. I was talking to her and she was like, how long have you been here? I was like, damn, it's been 3 months. Like, yo, time goes by so fast, man. It is crazy. And so the reason being is because I forgot to extend, like, so I waited to the last minute, and I think that's what it was. Somebody else had booked. So I ended up going to Brooklyn, and this is the very last Airbnb stay that I was at before I actually moved here. That was the one with if you guys saw some of my videos and you were attentive, that was the one that kind of had like a purplish background to it. Funny, yo. I mean, it was in a brownstone, really nice neighborhood. Not too far from Fulton Street and like Nostrand Avenue area. And like the host, he was really cool, right? But this is the funny thing, you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys. I was just like, what the fuck? What the entire fuck? So the host had a maid, right? She was like helping out around the house, you know, making sure things were clean, making sure like any guests who were there were happy and satisfied, right? On my second to my last night. My second to my last night staying at this place, and mind you, this is the last place, the final week before I moved into my apartment. We're talking about the second to the last day there, right? It rained. And so I'm lying in my bed, sleep. I'm lying in my bed, sleep, you guys, right? And I wake up to raindrops. Like, I'm like, what the hell? Why is water, like, falling on my freaking head, right? Raindrops falling down on my head. So I wake up, and you know me, like, I react like, what the hell? And I'm looking up, and it was dark, so I think I turned the light on, and I see, like, rain, like, water coming down. And I'm like, I just know it's not fucking raining on my freaking head. And so I text the host to let him know. I was like, yo, it's freaking, the ceiling is leaking. It's raining outside and it's raining in here. And so I told him what my remedy was, that I just basically went to the other side so that now the rain is at my foot and not on my head. And he tells me, sorry about that. You can let the maid know and she'll give you a bucket. And I'm like, what? A bucket? First of all, the bucket will make things worse because now I hear the rain just dropping on the bucket. I'm like, I don't think I want a bucket, right? So I'm just like, nah, that ain't gonna work. She was like, and she can help you move the bed too. I don't need help moving a bed. I'm a pretty strong woman. I don't need help with that. I need it not to be raining inside, even though I only have 2 more days left, right? And so I said, is when after he provided the suggestion of, her, like me letting her know about it, and she could give me new sheets and she can help me move the bed and give me a bucket because the rain. I let him know, like, it's rain in here, and it disturbed my sleep. Like, my sleep, like, it disturbed my sleep, yo. My sleep is important to me. Like, listen, I gotta get a good 6-7 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think everybody should get that amount of sleep, because if you don't, like, it disrupts everything else. People wonder why they're cranky, they're moody. Like, no, I gotta get my sleep. So the last thing I want to do is have my sleep interrupted. It's already interrupted, number one, from the rain. But then beyond that, I have to, like, literally get all the way up. I'm all the way, like, fully awake now at this point. Going out, and I'm, like, having a conversation with the maid. She's come. That's too much. At that, I'm not, how long it's going to take me to fall back asleep? So I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. So I just basically went to the other end of the bed. He, like, tells me, oh, after, I sent that message saying, like, my sleep is just disrupted, like, basically implying I don't want to get up and do all of that. He goes, oh, I didn't cause the rain. I'm like, seriously, that's the best way you can respond? You did not cause the rain? So I'm like, okay, interesting. Yeah, I know I'm going really slow with this pillow, because I'm very meticulous about how I do things. That's why. It has to be just right, It has to be just right. So I'm like, whatever. So I fixed the problem myself. I just went to the other side of the bed. I positioned, like, the blanket, the sheet that I had, to catch the little droplets of water that was falling from the ceiling, so that I wouldn't really hear it. The sheet would absorb it. Because if I put a bucket there, it's going to make more noise, right? So I'm just like, nah. So I just solved the problem myself. I'm like, okay, I only got one more. After that night, I only had one more night following that. And he was like, oh, I can refund you for the remainder night, so you're not going to be here. You only got one more night. And it's not about money. Like, I just don't want it to be raining in here. I mean, at least just put me in another room. He didn't even offer that. And the place had, I think, 4 bedrooms. And so I'm just like, yo, the fuck. And I could have easily turned the fuck up. But I say, no, Danielle, chill out. Smooth sailing. It's not what happens to you, right? It's how you respond to what happens to you. So I think I had to just take the bigger man approach, right? Because you can't go down to people's levels. By him saying, oh, I didn't cause the rain, like, yo, that's not a professional way to respond to a freaking customer, I might be able, let me see. This is what's left. I might be able to squeeze all of this in here. We're going to see. I'm like, yo, that's the best way you can respond. I had to hold my tongue. I'm just like, okay. I say, you know what? I think I'll keep my checkout for Thursday. Because it's just a whole inconvenience. Okay, so I check out a day earlier, sooner than what I was supposed to. He refunds me for the remainder. Then I have to go and find another place for another night until, of course, I get my keys for my apartment where I'm at now. Like, yo, that's just too much. Hello. And then fucking got the shit with me. I gotta do the lift. Like, yo, come on, man. So I just told him, I'll keep my Thursday checkout, and I fell asleep. So the next morning rolls in. His ass is there first thing in the morning, because I think I think people, when they have a guilty conscience, it speaks to them. So of course his guilty conscience spoke to him, I'm sure, right? And he showed up like bright and early in the morning. Oh, hey, how are you doing? Sorry about, last night. Sorry about that. Very apologetic, And then he was like, oh, the roofers are coming. They're going to come take a look at the roof, right? I don't know if they came or not. Out in my own world doing my own thing, right? Of course, working remotely also. And I also had went out. I think that was the day when I went out and I had got some crabs or whatever. And I did a video on my crabs, right? So I came back after getting breakfast and I saw him and I was asking him, I was like, okay, do you guys have a washer dryer? Because I wanted to make sure I had clean clothes, moving to my new place. All my other stuff was in storage in New York. I left some stuff back in LA. The stuff that I had when I was in LA is still back in LA. So that's a whole nother trip right there. I have to go and get that stuff out of storage as well. But the majority of my stuff, luckily, the things that I own were here in New York City while I was in LA working on my PhD. So all of that stuff is with me. I'm happy to have it with me. So I asked him, I said, is there a washer and dryer? And he's like, no, we don't have one, but I can get the maid to wash your stuff for you. And this is the funny part, y'all. I was like, all right. Now, granted, I'm not the one. Like, I know they have like laundry service and you can drop your stuff off. A lot of places where in the neighborhood where I live actually have laundry service where you drop your stuff off and they'll do your laundry for you, whatever, and call you to come pick it up and they'll wash and fold and all that. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's just too intimate, you know? I don't want nobody looking at my freaking underwear. Like, no, right? But I'm like, okay, whatever. He's offering and she's willing to do it. Okay, right? So I was just like, okay. And then it's just a bag of laundry, right? You know. So I was like, all right. He was like, you can give it to her now and she could do it for you. Okay, great, right? And so in the afternoon, I crossed paths with her. She knocked on my room door, gave me my clean laundry in my bag, and then she holds up a pair of my underwear and two of my shirts, my Black Lives Matter shirts, and tells me, oh, they didn't dry all the way. I'm looking at her like, they didn't dry. Okay, so why didn't you finish drying them? I mean, you agreed to do my laundry. Not that she necessarily had to, but in exchange for the inconvenience that I had endured the night before, he, asked her to do the laundry for me. She does his laundry. She's like the house helper or whatever around the house, right? And so I'm just like, okay, she agreed to it, And he offered that in exchange for my inconvenience of having to deal with the raindrops. It's like, I'll get her to do your laundry, don't worry about it, right? But like I said, like she handed me the bag. Everything else was washed and fully dried except for like one pair of underwear. And she's holding the underwear. I'm just like, get my freaking underwear. Like, I'm really like personal with stuff, y'all. Like, I'm people who know me know, like, I may share some stuff like on social media, but come on, I don't be walking like flying my freaking underwear. Like, yo, give me my shit, man. Hold my shit up. And then she got the two Black Lives Matter shirts. She's like, this didn't dry all the way. I was just like, okay. She's like, you want me to dry it? First she asked, did I have a hanger? I'm like, no. First of all, I don't have time to let it air dry because I'm checking out tomorrow and I would like for my clothes to be dry when I check out. So she was like, I could just go back and dry it, right? Here's the thing. She goes back, she dries it. A couple hours later, after I think, this was like later in the day, I came back. I think from the park after doing the video, right? And I see outside, because this is a brownstone, right? So there's a front yard outside where she has her other clothes drying outside, like laid out on some stuff she had it laid on. I see my freaking two shirts and my underwear sitting on top. It was folded. Okay, I give her that much. It was folded. But still, like, my underwear is sitting outside and people are walking. I don't know. I'm just very personal. Like I said, that just didn't sit right with me. I was like, yo, seriously? I didn't like that. But outside of that, maybe I may be petty. I don't know. I can admit, I can be really, like I said, like very particular about stuff. I am. And I am a little bit OCD-ish. But I'm just like, maybe it's a cultural thing. Granted, I think she was Caribbean. That's how they do stuff, you know, and it's cool for them. It's out in the open and you know, no filter. Yeah, I can fit all of this in here, y'all. Look, we're getting it done, y'all. We getting it done. But yeah, so that was the very last place, and I stayed there for a week, my final week before moving into my apartment, and then we roll around to October 1st. And then New York City has this weird rule where you cannot pick up your keys until after 4 p.m. on your move-in day. I'm like, what? And I thought it was like a management rule, right? No. This is New York City. I think it's city or is it state? Probably city. It's a city rule, right? Or law, whatever. Fuck. So it worked out though, because I checked out of that place in Brooklyn. Then I had other stuff I had to do. I took my shit to storage. After that, I had to go pick up my Wi-Fi box and all of that. By the time I finished running my errands, I looked and I even made a video and showed you guys, like, I was all excited about moving to my place, and I was like near the water, which my place where I'm at now is not too far from, it's walking distance to the water. And I'm like, I checked the time while I'm making the video. I'm like, oh wow, it's 4 o'clock. Like, time flew. I didn't even realize that it was already 4 o'clock. So just like that, 4 o'clock had came, and I picked up my keys and I moved in, and very happy with the way things went. Like, voila, this is done. So one bag actually fits one of these pillows. That worked out, you guys. I love it. I love it. All right, I have 3 more to go, and I will do these on camera. Let's see. Okay, we good. I was checking my battery. We good. And you guys, I am going to get a ring light because I realized the little circular lights they have up there in the ceiling, they're good for lighting, you know, downward in terms of like the stuff here. But as far as my face, I need a light directly at my face. Unless I do videos like early in the morning when the sun comes in my apartment. But I like this one better. Let's save the best for last. I like that print better, but I like this. I like all of them, by the way. And so I got my keys. I moved in. I've been here since October 1st, Friday, which was yesterday. I told you guys already, I had my movers come. That was a whole freaking evolution right there. Dealing with those silly movers and parking the freaking moving truck on my street. Everybody's moving. I'm just telling my people like, yeah, everybody's moving, but I guess it's opportune time to move. And then of course, it's, you know, people getting frustrated, honking the horn, because they can't get by. The moving truck is blocking everybody, and then my movers are just like, just wait, yelling at people. And I came out there, and they stopped honking their horn when I came out there. That was funny, yo. But everything got moved in. It worked out. Everything went smoothly. Thank God, because sometimes it doesn't go that way. Even my supervisor told me that sometimes things my mom is calling me, but she's gonna have to wait because I'm in the middle of making my video. She will wait. I love you, Mom, but you're gonna have to wait. Okay, stop. I know they see me live, like. See how long have I been going. Alright, I'm doing good, you guys. This is gonna be less than an hour, hopefully. It's 43 minutes now. So yeah, I was saying, like, my supervisor even said, because she knows that I'm moving too, and she had messaged me on my moving day and wished me some good luck. She was like, happy moving, good luck with moving, thank you so much. Everybody was like really support. I have a lot of support, you know, as far as me moving into my new apartment and just this whole transition. So I feel very grateful. And she was like, well, you know, moving days always like scare me and give me stress. I was like, but it wasn't that stressful. Honestly, it wasn't. Now, the interesting thing about my movers is that they were 2 Russian men. They told me from Ukraine. And I noticed like on their faces seemed kind of like downtrodden when they showed up. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And I'm all chipper and stuff. Of course, it's my movie day, so I'm all chipper and happy. And they get out their truck and they're kind of like sluggish. I'm like, how's your morning going? Like, you guys okay? I was like, yeah. And then something told me to ask them. We're like taking the elevator up to my storage unit. And something told me to ask them, like, did they eat? I don't know why I go into therapist mode. It's just I'm a therapist at heart. And so I said, did you guys eat? And then they were like, no. I was just like, why do you guys eat breakfast? Breakfast is important. How are you going to like expend all this energy if you have not eaten? But sometimes people are used to like working without eating. That's not healthy. It's clearly not healthy. So I was like, well, you can get some breakfast if you want. Like, you can get some breakfast. And I offered. I was like, no, we're going to get this done first. So they got everything out of my storage. I had 2 storage units. They got everything out. And then we were heading to Manhattan for my storage unit, which was in the Bronx. I offered, again, I was like, let's go get you guys some breakfast. And I was like, they were really excited. Like, all right. It's like, it's on me. Don't worry. I appreciate you guys for helping me. They move very efficiently, which I actually like. They were very efficient with their work. And so I got them some breakfast. And they ate it. And they were very thankful. It went smooth. I really don't have any complaints. Honestly, I don't. I like my place. It's cool. It's clean. It's in a nice neighborhood. And getting to, I think, why I chose Manhattan, I kind of laid that backdrop to tell you guys about like what led up to this point, because those different experiences, I think everything matters. Everything has an impact. Even if you think it's the smallest thing, it has an impact. And ironically, I crossed paths with my old roommate, the host, who hosted me at my longest stay, where I was staying at the 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. We just crossed paths today when I was on my way to Michael's, ironically, on the Upper West Side, right? And she was like, hi. I was just like, I had to focus. I was on the phone, actually, so I directed my attention to who was in front of me. And it's like, oh, hi, what's up? Like, it was interesting seeing her because I definitely didn't expect to see her, obviously, today. But being that we crossed paths, I was like, yes, I'm all moving to my apartment now. And I actually thanked her. I don't think, sometimes people don't realize the impact they have on you, right? I don't think she quite realized that her being so welcoming, and granted, I was in a period of transition to the point where I'm transitioning, right? So I'm in decision mode, trying to decide, okay, where should I live, right? In terms of settling down here in New York. And I'm just kind of like taste testing different places, Brooklyn, different places I'm staying at through Airbnb. And those are all trials, right? To kind of get myself a feel of where the hell in New York do I want to live, because New York is a big ass place. And previously, when I used to live in New York before I moved to LA for my PhD, I first was living in Chelsea briefly, and then I moved to Washington Heights, Upper West Side area. Stayed out there for a couple months, and then I ended up spending the remainder part of my stay in New York before moving to LA, and Little Italy in the Bronx. And so, of course, I got a feel of certain neighborhoods, but, in me going out and exploring, and I also did my master's at LIU on the island of Long Island. So, of course, I know what that's like, but, things change, and just getting my feet kind of wet and, trying out different neighborhoods and having a wonderful experience in Upper East Side. Where she was like the border, like I said, it was like border between, what do you call that? South Harlem, right? South Harlem, Upper East Side, like that border right there. Harlem, Upper East Side, like she was like kind of right there at that border, and just kind of getting a feel of that neighborhood was like great. So I actually found a place where I'm now in Upper East Side. I can't tell you guys exactly where, But it's a really nice neighborhood, nice apartment. It's quiet. I have AC. I have heat whenever I need it. Um, it works for me, and I have exposed brick. I mean, I made a few videos before, so you guys see I have exposed brick. It's nice. I love it. It worked out, you know. God is good. The universe is great. Things worked out for me. And another thing, so I did look at another apartment in Brooklyn aside from the one in Boerum Hill. I looked at one in Bed-Stuy. And granted, this one in Bed-Stuy was in like a brownstone building, which you guys know I love brownstones, right? And so I go inside and meet with the agent. We walk upstairs, and it was just only one floor walk up, because I'm not with I ain't even tell y'all the different apartments I've been through. So many different apartments, mostly in Manhattan, just touring different apartments. And one agent took me through the freaking ropes, had me walking up like 6 and 7 flights of stairs. I'm like, yo, I already told him, no, I do not want to do any walk up unless it has an elevator. That's the exception. It has, if I'm doing a walk up, if it's like above the second floor, it has to have an elevator. That was just my stipulation. But so this is in Brooklyn, and it was only the apartment that I was touring, it was, just one floor walk up. And I go inside, and everything is completely brand new, completely remodeled, just wonderful. And I'm talking about new appliances that go in the kitchen. The kitchen has, it appeared to be a washer, right? So I said, oh, it has a washer. I'm thinking, like, where's the dryer? And he tells me it's all in one, basically 2 in 1, which I didn't even know they make. I was just like, that is genius. The bathroom had like this weird technology, like you touch the mirror and then the light comes on. Is it like a light built inside the mirror? That was just breathtaking. It was really beautiful. The only drawback to that apartment, because I did like that it was fully upgraded, everything modernized, like it was just top notch. But the drawback was that the size of the apartment, like the living room was tiny as hell. The bedroom was super tiny, and I think he tried to like get me with like, oh, the closet. When we first walked in, he like opened the closet, trying to show me like, oh, there's some space. But no, you can't sell me. You can't hustle. You can't sell me anything, right? I buy things. People can't sell me shit. So I'm just like, oh, okay. But I told myself, I do like that everything is upgraded in here, and it smells brand new. You walk in, it smells brand new, but the size of it. And I think also this is it, y'all. This is what it was. So after I left from that tour, I walked through Brooklyn, Fulton Street, because this was like near Fulton Street and Nostrand Avenue. I think on Macon Street, actually, where that apartment was. But I was after that apartment tour, I walked down Fulton Street and I went to this fish market. And I ordered a fish sandwich. It was whiting. And the order went fine. I ordered it. I put my mustard on there and hot sauce and all that good stuff. She wrapped it up. I think I also ordered French fries with it too. Left from there, I went to go eat at the park, which was, I think the park was on the same street as the apartment that I was checking out. And I go and open my sandwich, and I think I actually took a bite. I want to say I took a bite, and then I looked at it. Usually I inspect my food first, so I don't see how the fuck I missed this, but I think I was really hungry. I took a bite, and when I went to go take another bite, that's when I noticed that the bread was molded, and I was like, this is so disgusting. I was turned off. Not only from the food, but I was turned off by just, I'm like, I don't want to stay over here. I just don't, I'm like, no, man. That's a sign, like, I think I'm very hypersensitive. That's what it is. Like, I'm hypersensitive to some things, and sometimes, right? And I'm just like, nah, I'm not staying here. I made that decision, made my mind up right then and there. But I think I was a little bit kind of open because I was in contact with the agent who was just like, so what do you think? Are you gonna apply? And I was like, send me the application, right? Now that apartment was $2,000, which was in my budget. So I was like, okay, it's in my budget, but the size, like, I was wrestling with the size of it. It's like, I don't know. But I did see quite a bit of apartments also out here in Upper East Side when I decided, like, oh, Upper East Side is probably where I want to stay because something was just telling me, like, pulling me in this direction, like Upper East Side, and I ended up on Upper East Side. And so I started to, like, narrow my search focus because before my search was kind of all over the place. It was Brooklyn, it was Lower Manhattan, and fucking, what do you call that, the Village. It was East Village. And I did see a really nice apartment in East Village. Oh my gosh, that one was nice. It had a washer and dryer. Actually, I think I took pictures of that apartment, and I think I did a video. I had a washer and dryer in it. Everything was brand new in that apartment. It was really, really nice, and that was in East Village. The neighborhood was alright, but it did have, like, around the corner, it was like, to me, I consider it, like, granted, I love everyone, but I think I just have a certain perspective when it comes, like, homelessness. And I mean, I'm honest about it. I feel like it's an eyesore. So who wants to step out their apartment and see freaking a person sleeping on a couch? So that kind of turned me off from that apartment. Now, when you go inside, the building is like everything upgraded, nice flooring. Everything is like brand new inside the actual building. But outside the building, like across the street and around the corner, is like homeless people and people on drugs. I don't want to live around that. I just don't. I'm very particular, I think, especially at this day and age and where I'm at in my life right now. Like, nah, man. I deserve the best. And so I was like, okay, I love my black people and but it's just the way it is. I didn't set it up this way. It's just the way our society is set up where, typically the nicer neighborhoods are usually where non-black people live. Unfortunately, because it's based on socioeconomic status, which is a factor of racial oppression and discrimination is systemic, right? We can have it's a whole separate video, but they kind of just go hand in hand, unfortunately. So it's just what you have to deal with. And it's like this thing about, oh, well, black people, they get, their success and the money and they go live in the white neighborhoods. And it's just like, I think for myself especially, I always made a commitment to myself and the black community. Like, I want to live in the hood. I want to live around black people, but I also want to live in a place where I feel safe and I feel it's clean. I'm not so much concerned about safety because I feel like New York City is a hood all around. Like, no matter what part, no matter what zip code you live in, like, New York City is gangster. So I'm not so much like, it's not about safety, it's more just cleanliness. Like, I need that shit to be clean. I don't want to step out my apartment and it's not clean, and it's homeless people, and it smells, and no, I don't want to deal with that, right? In certain neighborhoods you deal with, you have to face that. Thankfully, knock on wood, but in my neighborhood, it's not like that, where I chose to live, and I had spent enough time in Upper East Side, several months, to be able to get a feel of what this neighborhood is actually like. And for the most part, it's nice. And I was just telling my best friend today, I was just like, it's crazy. I mean, there's positives and drawbacks. One of the drawbacks is that I did go to Target the other day to get some household items, right? So I was getting like mop, broom, dustpan. I want to get a blanket, just like miscellaneous stuff the first night that I came here, right? And the prices were like 3 times the amount that they should have been. I'm just like, yo, seriously? Seriously, Target? But then it dawned on me, like, it makes sense because I'm like, okay, I guess because of the neighborhood. If this Target was in a different zip code, those prices would not be 3 times the amount. I was looking for a towel. One towel was like $19.99, the cheapest one. One full body length towel. I'm like, yo, seriously. So, it didn't take me long to figure that shit out, that, I will be doing my shopping. Some of my shopping anyway. Um, Probably in Harlem, where things are cheaper and it's not that far away. You know, because it just makes sense. It makes economical sense. It's like, why spend 3 times the amount just to do it? I mean, yeah, convenience. And I had to think about it because I had got the basket. I realized the prices were 3 to 4 times the normal amount. I started filling my basket up with different things that I was going to get from my apartment. And then it dawned on me, like, why? Why are you doing this? You could just go, like, to Harlem, to the discount store, and not have to spend this amount. Like it doesn't make any sense. And so I just left the basket right there, filled with what it was filled with, and I left. But I was telling my friend today, like, it makes sense, I guess, because you think, like, you look at the median income for this zip code. I mean, it's like 6 figures. It's, you know, it's in like 100K plus basically for the zip code. So I guess stores in their mind, they're like, oh, we can price our items, you know, to relate to the demographic of people, right, who live in that zip code. I just think they call it price gouging. I don't know. Fuck all of that. I'm a bargain shopper. I'm not shopper. I'm a bargain shopper. Like, I'm not doing that. So I finished my second pillow. So this is pretty cool. I was telling my friend that I might actually sell these pillows, but I don't know. I like to make arts and crafts, but not for sale. But it's pretty cool. Hold on. Hold up. I'm zipping it up, but some of the cotton is trying to get stuck in the zipper. So yeah, that's how I came to decide that I wanted to live. Ooh, hold on. Let me reposition. Let me reposition this. Let me reposition some of this cotton. I kind of got it bunched up. Spread it out just a little bit. There you go. Much better. I think that pretty much wraps it up. That pretty much wraps this video up. I want you guys to feel free to comment, share your thoughts. If you have any questions in particular, feel free to drop your questions below. I am going to finish these last two. Maybe I should do them on camera. I'm just sometimes mindful of the size of the video. It'd be taking forever. It'd be taking sometimes forever, or longer, not forever, but longer to download from Facebook when you have like over an hour long video. But let's see. I can stuff these because I want to show you guys. Hey. I love it. And I have a canvas that's actually coming. I have a canvas that's coming in the mail. And it's going to go above my couch. It's African centered, of course. It kind of looks something like this. But it's a really long canvas that extends the length of my couch. That's on the way. I have been looking at brownstones because I told myself it's gonna be the last apartment I'm renting. It's time to buy. It's definitely time to buy. But this is more of like, you know, transition for me, I would say, into, because I'm settling down in New York City. This is home for me, definitely. This is going to be the place where I am going to be. Granted, I did say that I'm going to be bi-coastal, so I might get a house or condo in LA, as I will most likely be getting licensed in California as well as a psychologist. So it's going to be interesting. Interesting. I love it, but I don't know if I really like stuffing. Because you can't just, like, you don't want to just take this whole entire thing out, right? just stuff it all in there at once. I mean, I could, but I don't know. It's going to be bunched up. So that's the reason why I'm separating it and spreading out the cotton. Like so. I was going down memory lane yesterday, actually, and looking through all of my photos. I have so many, and I did post some, but that's probably only 1% of the photos that I actually own. You know, I have so many photos, and that was back in the day when we took our cameras to places like Walgreens and got our film developed back in the day. I don't do that anymore. I think this is going to be the last one because I'm talking. I was talking to my supervisor. I said, I don't think I realized how many muscles we use in our mouth when we talk. And doing these freaking psycho evals, I love doing testing. Testing actually doesn't really involve that much talking. It's mostly observation. I mean, some talking, it depends. But some part of my eval, I am talking. I'm reading things off. I'm just like, damn. And the eval takes 2 hours for this particular assessment. And, you read the items off. And I'm like, damn. I know I can talk. Granted, I'm a very talkative person. But I think sometimes we're not aware, damn, how many muscles we use when we speak. And you speak consecutively for 2 hours. You're just like, God damn. You don't realize it until after you stop talking. Like, dang, my freaking mouth. I will be back in Brooklyn, though. The funny thing is, the last host, right? The one with the leaky ceiling when it rained. It wasn't no problems until it started raining. We were actually having a talk when I was waiting on my lift before I was leaving, and he was saying how he was going down to have a meeting with City Hall and some officials regarding gentrification in the neighborhood, because he actually owns that house, but he also owned another house down the street, which was seized, I think he said. Somehow it was taken away. So I'm just like, what? How did that happen? So he said he was going on there to kind of talk about, fight for, to save the neighborhood and to kind of reverse gentrification or stop it at least. And he was like, oh, you leaving us? You're leaving us in Brooklyn, huh? I was like, Manhattan doesn't have the cultural diversity. You're right. You're right. Brooklyn definitely has a flavor, but it's kind of losing it. Everybody knows that Brooklyn is somewhat losing its touch. When I say touch, I mean cultural. Black cultural touch. They're trying to push all the blacks out. A lot of blacks left New York and moved down south and moved to Jersey. But this is my approach, and it's always been my approach. It's like, instead of complaining about how much something is, why not just make more money? I mean, if other people can make 6 figures, 7 figures, why can't you? Granted, yes, we know there are barriers to access for certain ethnic groups. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware of it. That's what my dissertation is on, by the way. But I guess for me, I just like a challenge, And I'm very competitive too. So I'm glad I have that competitive spirit. It can work to my advantage and disadvantage though, because, when I'm even in work settings, I'm competitive, even in work. But I feel like this is America. America trains people to be competitive. So when you have employees that come to the workplace and you see that they're very competitive, and it's just like, gotta be the number one, you can't be mad. Because we train little kids from grade school how to compete. And you get rewarded if you're number one. You get rewarded if you make all A's. Like, I was that student, straight A student. I finished my work first in class, my classwork. And it was correct. It wasn't just me bullshitting. it was correct. So I realize I'm that way even like in work settings, I guess. Because right now, you know, of course, I'm doing my pre-doc internship. So yes, I am working corporate. Oh, look at this. I love it. This was fun. This was actually funner than what I thought it would be. Reminiscing, y'all. Reminiscing. That one's gonna go there, and then this is the last one. How are we doing on time? Ooh, okay, definitely. Let's see, can I do this in 5 minutes? Let's see. We're at 1:10 now. I want to finish before 1:15. 1 hour. So yeah, so these pillows, the cases actually, four of them were $20, right? I ordered from this company on Amazon. And the cotton, these cotton packs were like $6.50, I think, from Michaels. Rounded off to 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Let's round it off to 30, right? Easy math. So we say 30 plus 20 is 50. Divided by 4 is about $12 roughly, right? Each that it costs for these. Not bad. I told my friends I can flip this and make a profit. I could flip it, yo. Make a profit. Sell these Johns for $25. No, knowing me, I probably sell it for like $40, including shipping and handling. And that's $40 each for one pillow. I just gave you guys a business idea. I probably wouldn't do it because my time is pretty filled up with pre-doc internship, managing Ubawa, and I'm also like revisiting my writing, you guys. I am about to be a published author. Granted, yeah, I have some work published digitally on my website, but I haven't published a physical copy of a book yet. Published magazine, you know, through Ubawa magazine. But as far as books, I am getting ready to do that. I'm going to tell you more. You guys will hear more about that too, though. Of course, I have my autobiography that is underway. I have my BDSM erotica book, Dying to Submit, that is underway. This is some good times, you guys. You have to just stay on the positive. Granted, this pandemic is a pain in the fucking ass, especially with those masks. But aside from that, the way I see it is opportunities. And I know my Facebook people like, she's talking to herself. No, you guys, I'm actually recording this for my real followers who are on YouTube. So, I mean, you guys support me too on Facebook, but you support me when you want to. I think Facebook is just all about drama. And with YouTube, I actually can have like intelligent conversations. It's just different people on YouTube than it is on Facebook. I don't know what kind of followers I got on Facebook. It's like with Facebook, unless I'm like acting ratchet or I don't know, some drama going on, y'all will peek in, but outside of that, y'all don't really be on that shit too much. With YouTube, I could be talking about global warming in YouTube. Because I think what it is that the, what do you call it, the algorithm with YouTube is different, and it markets your videos to different audiences, right? No matter what your videos are talking about. Whereas Facebook really doesn't do that. Unfortunately, Facebook just I mean, the people who follow your page, only a certain percentage will get notified that you're live. And then that's pretty much it. Facebook not going to promote your shit. You got to pay Facebook to promote. Whereas YouTube will actually position your video in a place where people like can see it who are interested in that topic, you know? And you don't have to pay YouTube for that. I'm a YouTube partner, so YouTube actually pays me. Okay? Okay, but Facebook is set up a little bit differently, so it makes sense. Yeah, my followers, I don't know what the fuck they like, to be quite honest. They do support me though. I ain't gonna just push them under the bus like that. My Facebook followers do support. They be showing me love, you know, on my posts. I'm glad this worked out because I was a little bit concerned, like, is this going to be enough cotton to fill these pillows? Because I did not take the covers with me to Michael's. And before I end this video, I'm going to tell you guys that, guess what I am going to start doing? I am going to start going live with art. Yes. I made my mind up about this maybe a month or so ago that I said I was going to make some videos of me painting, guys. I'm going to try my hand at painting. Canvas. And also cooking. Granted, I've cooked before. Back when I used to live in Florida and Atlanta. My own place back there. I used to cook. But I'm not big on cooking. I'm really big on eating out and taste testing different restaurants. But I'm going to get back to cooking. So this is going to be really an exciting journey the next year, you guys, with you guys here. I say next year because my life is kind of reflecting my time here in this program and my PhD, so that's how I kind of break up time. And I have 1 year left, and that year is my pre-doc internship that I'm completing now. And it will done this time next year. And then by then, I should be buying a home, right? That is the goal. But I love these colors. It's just so vibrant. The orange, the yellows. It's like also fall colors too. And the black, the red. It's very fiery, lively. I just love the colors. And it matches actually my shirt, guys. I did a video. This is just so nice, guys. I love this. I love it. You know how you buy things and you're not happy with your purchase? I'm actually happy with this purchase. Alright, that's it. So feel free to drop your questions below if you guys have any questions on my experience living in Brooklyn, living in Manhattan. I think I was pretty clear about how I came to choose Manhattan. Everything about it, especially this neighborhood. It spoke to me, and I found out recently from my supervisor that a good concentration of psychologists actually live in Upper East Side. So I'm like, interesting. Maybe they have like an underground club or something, or maybe I can start one to bring us together. That'll be interesting. But I am going to invest in a ring light to bring some more light to my face so you guys can be able to see me. Oh, it's a little bit lighter if I hold it up this way, huh? I'm going to catch you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.